What would you do if suddenly people started smiling at you in a very unsettling manner? Not the usual genuine happy smiles, but something that always makes people uncomfortable, something that always sends shivers down your spine and gives you goosebumps. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about a therapist who experienced just that. Okay, and if you haven't already guessed from what I'm talking about, I am talking about the movie The Smile. Okay, now it is actually a psychological horror movie, and honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. So I highly recommend it if you like psychological horror, something unsettling, something a little uncomfortable to watch. Then this is the perfect movie. Now, I am personally not a very big fan of the second movie. I liked the first movie because, according to me, the first movie had more jump scares and it was leaning more towards the horror part. It does have a psychological twist to it towards the end, but it's generally like something that would make you scared. The second one, I don't know, the second one was a little weird, so I wouldn't recommend it that much. But if you still want me to cover it in another video, I will. This is the first movie, The Smile. So let's get started. So the movie is about a therapist who works in a psychiatric hospital. Her name is Rose Couture. I hope I'm pronouncing that wrong. Right. But anyway, so okay, the movie starts with the past. So let's talk about her past first. Rose is 10 years old when she comes back home and she sees her mother lying on the floor, and her mother asks her for help. Okay, she's, I think, mentally a little unstable, and I think in depression, and she, I think, overdoses herself accidentally. I don't know, but she asks her daughter for help, and instead of helping, Rose freezes and hides in a corner, watching as her mother eventually passes away. Okay, and I think even when she grows up, that like deeply stays inside her, because if she wanted, she could have easily called 911 and called someone to help her, but she did not do that. So she's guilty throughout her life, even when she's an adult. Coming back to the present, Rose has, since she's a therapist, she has one last patient before she goes back home. Now the patient's name is Lauren. Okay, she's deeply unsettled and she keeps talking about how she keeps seeing people smiling at her in a very unsettling manner, and she keeps hallucinating and seeing a creature, a monster. Okay, and in the beginning, Rose doesn't believe it at all. Okay, she just thinks that she's hallucinating, she needs medication, and she'll probably become all right soon. Okay, but that is not what happens, because when she sees Lauren see like turning, like looking at the side, uh Rose turns around to see what's happening. Okay, but when she turns back, because she sees nothing there, she sees that now all the panic, all the fear is no longer there in Lauren. In fact, she's smiling in a very unsettling manner. And it's like that particular scene, it's not scary, but like it's something that gives you a weird feeling. Okay, like even right now, okay, by when I'm talking about this, I keep looking at the back, like making sure nothing's smiling at me. Yeah, so anyway, so she sees that now, instead of panicking and being fearful, Lauren is smiling in a very unsettling manner. And this like makes Rose feel a little uncomfortable. Okay, and she tries talking to her, but she doesn't reply, and all the panicness is gone and she's calm. Okay, the weird kind of calm. Instead, she picks up a glass piece and she dies. Okay, like that like unsettles Rose a lot. She comes home, she tells her fiance about it. Her fiance tells her, calm down, it's okay. After that, very unsettling things start happening with Rose, because now she sees everyone smiling. Not the happy kind, not the genuinely joyful kind, the weird, unsettling kind that she saw on Lauren's face before she killed herself. Like, wow. Okay, like, okay, I will put up a picture or something so that you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So like she's passing from one of the patient's wards, and she sees the patient just sitting there on his bed smiling in a very, honestly, I oh my god, I don't like all this, but yeah, So after that, she keeps telling people that no, I am pretty sure what I'm seeing is not hallucinations, okay, because no one believes her. It's like only she can see these people smile in such a weird manner. No one else can see her smile like that, and she's deeply uncomfortable. Okay, so by the way, did you guys notice my hairstyle? I am still experimenting with my hair, and honestly I love it a lot. Yeah, anyways, so everyone like shrugs it off, saying that she's like having a breakdown because of what she witnessed with that Lauren like killing herself and stuff. So that's why they don't like think much of it. They think that she'll come around, she'll become better soon because she's a therapist herself. But that doesn't happen, okay? And now it's her nephew's birthday. She's invited definitely, and she gives him a birthday gift. He's excited because apparently he asked for something, and but like when he opens the gift, instead of finding the toy that he asked his aunt to buy for him, he sees a cat, not any normal cat. That cat is Rose's pet cat who disappeared, and Rose couldn't find him anywhere. He's dead, bleeding in that box, and everyone's horrified. Okay, but this whole scenario results in Rose having a big argument with her sister, who is her nephew's mother, definitely. Okay, and indirectly somewhere they blame, like she starts blaming Rose for her mother's death and everything, and it gets like very complicated, very serious and stuff. Okay, now after this, like Rose is genuinely panicking because like, okay, what is going on? Ever since I saw this Lauren girl smiling like that, everything's going haywire. Okay, I don't know what to do. So she realizes that, oh wait, my ex-boyfriend is a police detective, so why not go ahead and ask him for help, because her fiance is definitely not helping her. In the beginning of the movie, when like after she witnessed this and she witnessed the whole Lauren killing herself scene, and she came home, her fiance was so supportive. I genuinely was like so happy for her. I was like, wow, she's got such a nice fiance. But like as we go deeper into the movie, he started like thinking that she's just hallucinating and having a mental breakdown, and he started looking at her like as if she's crazy, like, brother, do you want me to smack you across your face or something? Okay, like that is so, I hate it when partners do that, because he's not your partner if that's how he's treating you when you are in trouble. Okay, yeah, in fact the ex-boyfriend is so much better. He was so much like, I wouldn't say he was better looking, no offense, but like his personality was so much better. Okay, he did not think of her as a mental crazy lady, but like he genuinely thought about helping her. Honestly, I think he still has like a soft spot for her or something, but like
That is what gets him killed eventually.
I think. Okay, yeah, so anyway, so she decides to go to her police detective ex, whose name is Joel. Okay, she goes to Joel and she explains the whole entire situation to him. She's like, having my patient came over and she killed herself in front of me, and ever since that happened, everything's going down the hill. And in the beginning, even he was like a little skeptical, because honestly when you hear stuff like that, it's like really difficult to believe. Okay, like if someone came up to me and told me that, I wouldn't believe it either. More like I would be too scared to like help the person. Like, I think you're asking the wrong person for help, brother. But anyway, um, so she but he eventually agrees to like help her. And from everything that Joel is able to find out, they realize not Lauren, sorry, Rose realizes that Lauren wasn't the first victim. Okay, and like before her, other people had also witnessed something like this. It's like they witness someone else getting killed, and then strange things start happening to them, and they start seeing these smiling people, and then they end up dying a few days or weeks later in front of another person as a witness, and this continues and continues and continues. It's like an endless chain. Okay, and so that's why things were happening to Lauren killed herself in front of Rose, and now it's passed on to Rose. Okay, and she, honestly, it looks at this point of the movie, it looks like Lauren not it looks like Rose cannot escape it at all. It's just a chain. She's eventually going to die, and someone else will be there to witness it. Okay, but okay, now she is determined not to end up like that. She doesn't want to die like that. Okay, by the way, they eventually like find out that there is one person who was able to survive this whole scenario, okay, this whole chain that was going on, and that was, but he was in prison, okay, for murdering someone. They, Joel and Rose, end up going to him in prison to find out how did he exactly come out of this chain. When they go to him, event in the beginning he doesn't like speak, okay, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but eventually after like forcing him a little, he finally opens up. He tells her that it's a chain, it's a curse. It's not exactly a curse, it's just like it keeps passing on to people. So like you witness someone dying in front of you, you start seeing the creature, the monster, the smiling thing, and eventually you kill yourself and everything. The only way you can escape this is to kill someone else in front of someone else, like real life. But like as an example, say I am witnessing this whole thing, like I am experiencing this whole thing, and I end up killing Santa Claus in front of Elf. Very random, but I killed Santa Claus in front of Elf. So now the curse has passed on from me to Elf because Elf witnessed me kill Santa Claus. Got on? Hopefully. So yeah, that's what he says. So now she's like, she eventually finds out that this creature, whatever this monster is, he feeds on people's fears and guilt. This is where the psychological part of the movie comes in, okay, because then she realizes that she's an easy target for this monster or this creature, whatever it is, because she is still guilty about what happened to her mother when she was younger. Instead of saving her, she just stood there witnessing her mom slowly die. So that's why she's still guilty about it, and that is exactly what this monster is feeding on. So she decides that, you know what, I'm not gonna end up like all these other people. I am going to be the second survivor after this man. So she goes to the home, the house which belonged to her and her sister and her mother. She doesn't live there anymore. She lived in an apartment, but she goes back there, which is, I think, in a very remote area. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend that. But without telling anyone, she just goes there, she drives there, okay, and over there, she starts like hallucinating, and she sees, she goes back to the past, like flashbacks and everything, and she sees that her mother is laying there, okay. And at one point, okay, at this point, I genuinely thought she would survive, okay, but she does not, okay, because she's like, you can see that, she's overcoming the fear, she's overcoming the guilt. It's almost like the mother has forgiven her, and she's able to beat the monster. She beats the monster and everything, and then she goes back to Joel's apartment. Okay, she goes to his apartment, and
Declaration of love, my darling, happened.
but then she comes back to reality, where she sees that she is still in her old house, abandoned house, and now there is a horrifying creature in front of her, behind that smiling face. Let that settle in, okay, because she was not actually in Joel's apartment, and they weren't declaring love. She was there, and now he's eating on her guilt and her fear, and taking control of her, because she could not beat him. She thought she could, but she could not. She's still guilty about her mother's death. And honestly, I think like everyone, you can never come over that. I think you just wouldn't be able to come out of something that traumatic. So she ends up killing herself. This is where Joel comes into the picture again, okay, because she, remember how she went without telling anyone? She was driving like a crazy woman, going to her abandoned old house, thinking that she could beat this thing. She didn't tell anyone, and Joel is like genuinely worried about her, concerned about her, because and yeah, so he's like following her, but he's late, because by the time he enters the old abandoned house, he sees her kill herself. Instead of killing someone else so that she could pass it on to the other person who was witnessing it, she kills herself because the monster has clearly taken over her, okay. And now it's passed on to Joel, because she dies in front of Joel. So this tells us that it's not actually over. She couldn't beat it, and now instead she's passed it on to Joel. and he will probably suffer the same fate, because that is where the movie ends. So this was actually the whole movie. I, of course, I did not go through each and every scene in the movie. It is just to give you an idea of what the movie is like, so that you can go and watch it and, in a way, get motivated to watch it. Because honestly, it was a nice movie, not gonna lie, and I feel like it's a little underrated. It's not like the typical horror movie where like you have a lot of jump scares. It does have its fair share of jump scares, but it's not all that much. In fact, if you are someone who enjoys like like more of a psychological twist to horror movies, then this is your cup of tea. But if you don't, then I don't think you would enjoy it that much, because it's like a lot of like guilt tripping and everything, and like past and stuff. So yeah, that was it. That was the whole movie. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want me to like cover more such videos of movies or even shows, I know I still have to finish The Wonder Foods. I just did one episode, but I did not want to do it at a stretch. I wanted to like change things up, and since I recently watched this movie, everything is like still fresh in my head, so I thought, why not make a video on this? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. And if you have any suggestions about more such movies or shows that you would like me to cover, don't forget to comment down in the comment box, or let me know on Instagram. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.